Hello everyone. If you are a 2000s kid like myself, you remember every single one of these mobile games. Watching footage of these games is so nostalgic for me, and hopefully it is for you too. Every single one of these games is over 10 years old, so just let that sink in. If you didn't grow up playing these games, well, still watch the video. I'm going to go over 10 mobile games from the early 2010s. Some of these are still playable, and some are not. Some of the games are still true to what they used to be, like Subway Surfers, and some have been heavily updated, like My Singing Monsters. Number 1. Jetpack Joyride. An absolute classic. When I think of mobile games, this is one of the first that come to mind. It was released during the peak of mobile games in 2011. You play as Barry Steak Fries, which I had no clue was his name. He has stolen a jetpack from a top-secret laboratory and is on the run. The game is an endless runner. The player controls whether his jetpack is on or not with one single tap. All you had to do was avoid obstacles in your path. I remember this one quite fondly. It was fun for a minute, but it got boring after a bit. Because, the whole infinite scroller thing. As for where it's at now, it's still active and still gets updates, and you can download it right now. It actually got a sequel a few years ago, Jetpack Joyride 2, Bullet Rush. But it has already been shut down, proving the first one is elite. Number 2. Where's My Water? I absolutely love this game. It also released in 2011. This game is led by Swampy, the first Disney character created for a mobile game. He needs water for a shower, so you must route the water reservoirs through tunnels to make it to Swampy's shower. Not losing the water was the biggest challenge, among other obstacles. When the game was released, there were 4 chapters with 20 levels in each. Over 10 new chapters would gradually appear through multiple updates the following years. In 2012, a subset of levels would be released for Cranky Story, another character in the game. It's essentially the same game, but now instead of water, it's poisonous water. The same thing would happen with another character, Allie, who is Swampy's girlfriend. She got her own subset of levels as well. This game would also spawn multiple sequels, including Where's My Water 2, which is even more successful than the first one, Where's My Perry, where Perry the Platypus from Phineas and Ferb is the main character, Where's My Mickey, where Mickey Mouse is the main character, Where's My Valentine, and Where's My Holiday star both Swampy and Perry, Where's My Summer stars just Perry, and Where's My Water featuring XYY. I think it's about time we get Where's My Water 3. Number 3. Cut the Rope. Another one of my favorite games. Another puzzle game. You have to cut the rope to get this candy to this little guy, Om-Nom. This game might be one of the most successful franchises on this list, and I had absolutely no clue. So let's first go over the sequels. Cut the Rope was released in 2010. Then Cut the Rope Experiments released in 2011. Cut the Rope Time Travel released in 2013. Cut the Rope 2 Unexpected Adventure released in 2013. It's called Cut the Rope 2, but it's the 4th game. Next was Cut the Rope Triple Treat in 2014. My Om-Nom in 2014. It was essentially an Om-Nom Tamagotchi. Cut the Rope Magic in 2015. After 4 years, we got Om-Nom Merge in 2019. Om-Nom Run in 2020, which was an endless runner. Cut the Rope Remastered in 2021. Cut the Rope Daily in 2023, which is a game for Netflix. And most recently, Cut the Rope 3, which, again, is actually the 12th game. Not only has this franchise had 12 games, but also like 1,000 level packs for each game. There is Om-Nom Stories, an animated series based on Om-Nom. There is a comic book series, tons of merch, including plush, McDonald's toys, and a personalized children's book. There was even going to be a feature film, but that did ultimately get canceled. I feel like Om-Nom has had quite the successful career. Number 4. My Singing Monsters. My personal favorite game on this list. This is another franchise that has exploded since its launch in 2010. In My Singing Monsters, you own an island of monsters that sing. You breed them, you feed them, and they sing. You collect coins to unlock more islands, to unlock more monsters, to earn more coins, to unlock more islands, to unlock more monsters, and repeat and repeat. Over its lifespan, it has gotten massive amounts of updates. There is so much to do in the game now. When I played it, there was like 6 islands. Now there are like 30. They've also introduced new elements, something I didn't think they would ever do. Of course, they have a spin-off, a prequel, Dawn of Fire. This game also introduces a very cool concept. The monsters start off as babies. They got their own console game as well, called My Singing Monsters Playground. It's just a party game. They also have their own board game, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Oh, how could I forget? They also got a TV show. Well, YouTube show. Take a look. What in the name of Wii game graphics looking thing is this? Candy Crush Saga. In my opinion, wasn't really much of a game for the kids of the time, but the parents were certainly playing it. We all know that one person in our family that's on like level 10,000 and is waiting for the designers to make more. It was released in 2012 and was a simple tile matching game. At the game's peak, it was making over $1 million a day. In 2014, almost 100 million people were playing the game. The revenue over a 3-month period was almost $500 million. 5 years after its release, it had received 2.7 billion downloads. As of 2023, the game has produced over $20 billion in revenue. It has had 3 spin-off games: Candy Crush Soda Saga, Candy Crush Jelly Saga, and Candy Crush Friends Saga. Number 6, Fruit Ninja. Released in 2010, it's super simple. Fruit flies across the screen, and using your finger, you have to slice it. But don't slice a bomb. This game was also very successful. In its first month, it had 200,000 downloads. 2 years in, it had 300 million downloads and was on 1/3 of all US iPhones. In 2015, after 5 years, it reached 1 billion downloads. It was also ported to multiple consoles, including Xbox 360 Connect and PlayStation 4 VR. It also has its own arcade game. Like most of the games on this list, it got its own CG animated 13-episode series. It's exclusive to YouTube Premium. It was canceled. Can only imagine why. There was also going to be a movie, but it was canceled. Kinda seems like they will make anything for name recognition. Number 7, Subway Surfers. This was the first ever mobile game I played. Well, I think anyway. It was released in 2012. It is an endless runner, probably the most famous one. You begin playing out as Jake. You vandalize a subway and then get chased by the inspector and his dog. You run on the tracks and of course, subways. There is also some power-ups you can get, including a hoverboard. As of 2019, it was reported it had 2.7 billion downloads. It's a fun game, but it suffers like most of the other games, just being monotonous and the same thing over and over again. But I guess that's what some people want. Number 8, Flappy Bird. Released in 2013, another endless game. You tap Flappy Bird to make him raise in height so he can clear the pipe obstacles. It was an overnight success. It had 90 million downloads and pulled in $50,000 in ad revenue a day. It was created by a Vietnamese man, Dong Nguyen. In 2014, despite the game's immense popularity, Nguyen removed the game off the App Store. There were many rumors as to why he did this, one of them being legal issues with Nintendo with how close the pipes resembled the ones in Mario. However, this was false. Another rumor was that he had to remove it due to internet laws in Vietnam, but this was also false. Nguyen really removed the game because it was too addictive. He said it was supposed to be a game to play for a few minutes when you're relaxed, but it ended up becoming very addictive. He claimed his addictive product was a problem, and that it heavily weighed on his conscience. So, he ultimately discontinued the app, and he ended up feeling much better. Because of Flappy Bird's immense popularity and short lifespan, there have been many knockoffs and parodies of the game. Following the removal, phones with the app still installed were posted on eBay and got bids over $90,000. However, due to eBay's policy that phones must be wiped in order to be sold, these auctions were removed. In August of 2014, just 6 months after the removal, Nguyen released a spin-off called Flappy Bird Family, exclusively through the Amazon App Store. This revised version introduced multiplayer, along with new obstacles. Also, like many of these games, Flappy Bird has his own arcade game. Number 9, Geometry Dash. Developed by a guy named Rob Top and released in 2013, Geometry Dash is similar to an endless runner, but it does have levels. And there are 26 of them. And man, they are hard. All you do is tap for your icon to jump, and since it is a runner, you don't control your speed, with the exception of a few levels. In the full version of the game, you can create your own level and play other player-created levels. In 2021, Rob Top revealed there was going to be a new update, the first one since 2017. Well, after multiple delays and pushbacks, the game got its first update in 6 years, in December of 2023. Geometry Dash also has multiple spin-offs: Geometry Dash Lite, the free version, Geometry Dash Meltdown, Geometry Dash World, and Geometry Dash Sub-Zero. I've played this game, and I needed a phone from Wall Extraction Company to come to my house after just 3 short minutes. Not the biggest fan of this game. Number 10, Angry Birds. To round off the list here, I'm putting the most successful mobile game ever. I don't think it's forgotten, because it's not. but I'm putting it here anyway, because I want to talk about it. Released in 2009 by Rovio Entertainment, the object of the game is to kill the pigs using the Angry Birds to prevent them from stealing their eggs. The reason pigs were selected as the villains was due to the swine flu epidemic at the time of the game's release. By 2014, 5 years after its release, it was downloaded over 2 billion times across all platforms, including its console releases. By 2015, all the games in the series' combined downloads equated to over 3 billion, easily making it the most successful mobile game of all time. There was also a plethora of spin-off games. The second game released in 2010 was Angry Birds Seasons, centered around holidays. In 2011, there was Angry Birds Rio, a tie-in with the movies Rio and Rio 2. In February of 2012, there was Angry Birds Friends, originally a Facebook exclusive. A month later, in March of 2012, Angry Birds Space was released. In September of 2012, Bad Piggies was released, where you have to build vehicles to get the piggies to their destinations. In November of 2012, Angry Birds Star Wars was released. The Angry Birds were based on Rebel characters from Star Wars, where the piggies were based on Imperial characters like Darth Vader. In September of 2013, Angry Birds Star Wars 2 was released, this time focusing on the prequel movies rather than the originals. In November of 2013, there was also Angry Birds Go, a racing game. Okay, I just looked at the list. There are so many more games, I have to go faster. 2014, Angry Birds Epic. 2014, Angry Birds Stella. 2014, Angry Birds Transformers. 2015, Angry Birds Pop. 2015, Angry Birds Fight. 2015, Angry Birds 2, despite being the 15th game. 2016, Angry Birds Action. 2016, Angry Birds Blast. 2017, Angry Birds Evolution. 2017, Angry Birds Match. 2018, Angry Birds Champions. 2018, Angry Birds for Messenger. 2019, Angry Birds Dream Blast. 2019, Angry Birds VR/AR Isle of the Pigs. 2019, Angry Birds Pop Blast. 2019, Angry Birds Explore. 2019, The Angry Birds Movie 2, VR Under Pressure. 2021, Angry Birds Reloaded. 2021, Angry Birds Bird Island. 2022, Angry Birds Journey. Oh my god, that is the 29th game. Why so many? What's worse is that there were 10 canceled games and 7 more games set to release in the future. There's so much more stuff to list, but I'm just going to be vague. They have 10 animated series and 2 theatrically released movies, tons of merchandise, including plushes, clothes, McDonald's toys, Lego sets, tons of books, including a cookbook, tons of comics, and you know what, I'm done listing this stuff. In 2019, every Angry Birds game, except Bad Piggies, was taken off the app stores. There has still yet to be an official reason for this. In August of 2023, Rovio Entertainment was sold to Sega, and now we're caught up to modern day. I said so much for Angry Birds, and yet it feels like I only scratched the surface. So, how many of these games did you play? I know I played almost every single one of these, without counting the 30 Angry Birds games. I know I missed a ton. So I will be making a part 2 next week. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that.